Vamos. Malema Sabo. Namanje aye kweporo amala sinetembiye aye kweporo amala Malema Sabo Assassino Assassino Amanda hey Joe Viva EFF Student Command Viva EFF Students Command Viva Long live the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, long live! Long live the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, long live! Long live the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, long live! Amanda! Hey, oh, thank you very much. I think Lenda sound is as permanent Veleni. So sizawucela ukuthi we try by all means. Whilst there is a chairperson of the EFF Students Command here at the University of Pretoria. So we are going to the chairperson that delivered an SRC victory at the university. So we are going to quickly call on the chairperson without wasting any time. We are going to run very quickly through our program. Chairperson of the EFFSC here at UP, come and greet your students. Amanda! Amanda! PUP long live. Town with the Musia town. Town with the Musia town. Thank you very much, comrade students. Thank you, comrades. We would like to welcome the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, to the racist university called the University of Pretoria. Welcome, Comrade President. We want to tell you the circumstances that we are faced with in this racist university. Comrade President, as black people and Africans in particular, who are treated like stepchildren of this university, we can't even breathe. Leading up to the SRC elections, Comrade President, judging from our total victory in the 2023 SRC elections, were disqualified. So they saw the power of the EFF and the EFFSC. So leading to the 2024-2025 SRC elections, they toughened up the regulations of the IEC. They even fired the IEC of last year and employed a bogus company called IM. Thank you very much, Chairperson. We're now going to give the Deputy Secretary General of the EFF Students Command, the SG, apologies, who will lead the program of today.
That is with us today. I think there are two speakers. No, one. Revolutionary greetings to your Commander-in-Chief,
So I bring to you, students of the University of Pretoria, the incoming president of this country. He establishment lifetime. Amandla!
Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Down with AfriForum, down! Down with the racist management, down! Down with racism, down! Thank you very much, comrades. Thank you very much, Comrade Chairperson. Let me take this opportunity to also greet the leadership of the EFF from the Central Command Team, which is here, the leadership of the province, the leadership of the region, and the leadership of the Student Command, UP branch, the leadership of the Student Command nationally led by the President, leaders of the who are here today, and all of you, the students who are looking into the future and highly committed to the transformation agenda. We want that this EFF represent the future, will be here to stay. So the sooner they make peace with that, the better. Comrades, I stand here today at the heart of racism, where you as students of this university have decided to wage the struggle to destroy the white supremacy and be the necessary irritation against white Afrikaner arrogance. Fellow fighters, I'm aware that I've been invited here by progressive young people of this university. It is here at this university where racists painted themselves with black faces and try to undermine you and the history of our struggle against apartheid. The use of language to oppress us in order to portray themselves as the oppressed. They paint themselves black because they know that black represent oppression and they want to project themselves as victims, whereas they are the ones who are attacking us. Comrades, it is here at this university where those who are in the management collaborated with the racist and right-wing formations such as AfriForum to reverse your democratic victory in SRC election last year. Yet they portray the EFF as an undemocratic organization, but themselves will never accept a democratic will of the students. They framed you and wanted to create an impression that you are racist when they were racist themselves. They felt so inferior that when they could not defeat you democratically, they resorted to smear campaign to undermine the democratic will of the students. Fellow fighters, after all of this attempt to deny you the rightful victory you attained last year, you were not discouraged, and you worked harder for students, and you once again emerged victorious, and no one could deny you your victory. I am here, therefore, to honor you, because you represent the fighting spirit that we need to achieve economic freedom in our lifetime and to achieve the defeat of racism and white supremacy. I'm here to honor you, comrades and students of the University of Pretoria, because you have chosen to believe in the EFF, not based on what racists say about us, but based on what you know this revolutionary movement to represent. The EFF represents anti-racism. The EFF represents anti-colonialism. And the EFF represents justice and equality. You did not allow those who seek to undermine what it means to be black to define to you what this movement stands for. And for that, we applaud you. Comrades, there are many important things that we must reflect on here today, because it is our duty as revolutionaries to ensure that we do not allow ourselves and the ideas of our opposition to mischaracterize us. We must make sure that we, at all material times, we tell our story and we speak for ourselves. No one must choose heroes for us. We know our heroes. No one must define us, because we can define ourselves. The right-wing organization use fear to fundraise. They use fear to secure votes, and they manipulate racists because racism relies on ignorance, desperation, and disunity. And the EFF has for too long been used as a weapon by racists to gather support in this country. When they want to engage in sort of khafar, they just mention the EFF or the name Malema. Then white people get scared, because that's what white supremacists are. They are gullible and they get easily intimidated because they want to protect privilege. Fighters, we must never be ashamed of being black. We must always be black and be proud. And we must always fight against Africanerism and against white supremacy. We must not allow those who stole our land and our wealth to want to project themselves as our heroes. We must confront racism at all material times. This university celebrates racism. It is the center of racism. The white supremacists find comfort in this university. And we must tell them that this place will never be a home of Africans. It will be a home of isiZulu, Sepedi, Indebele, Setsonga, Venda, and all official languages. If they want Africans in this university, they must know that all languages must be represented in this university. We want the children of Soshanguve, of Mamelodi, of Hammanskraal, of Mabopane. We want them, when they look at this university, they must see themselves. The children of Soshanguve in Jugulein, they must know that their future is in this university. Comrades, we must never rely on white liberals to manage us, because white liberals always want to create an impression that they are with us, whereas they are benefiting both sides. They keep us in long meetings debating how our pain can be dealt with, and after those long meetings, they resort back to white privilege. We must never allow them to derail our revolution. We must fight against everyone who want to derail our revolution. In this city of Pretoria, that's where they killed Steve Biko. Steve Biko died here. And if we want to make Steve Biko proud, we must represent exactly what Steve Biko stood for. It is for this reason that Steve Biko developed the theory of black consciousness and defined it as an attempt to infuse the black community with a newfound pride in themselves, their efforts, their value system, their culture, their religion, and their outlook on life. It was Steve Biko who was trying to make us to be proud of who we are and never be ashamed of who we are. We must never want to be like white people. We must just be ourselves, and the rest will follow. Comrades, racism is an evil system, and that evil system does not represent what the future looks like. There is no way there will be non-racial society in this country if white supremacists see themselves as superior. The only way to achieve the non-racial society is when the white Afrikaners and white supremacists accept that they are an equal nation to all of us. For as long as they project themselves as superior and want to preach non-racialism, they must know in reality that will never be achieved. How can we be non-racial if we see ourselves as superior and see others as inferior? By virtue of having a divided nation on the basis of race, you must know we will never achieve non-racialism. They are fighting against the EFF because the EFF represents the truth. The only crime the EFF committed in this country was to tell the truth to power and never be scared to confront white racism. We are the only people who engage white people head on. And that's why they've taken their time to want to destroy the only weapon black people have, which is the EFF. So we must make sure that we don't succumb to white supremacy. The students of UP, you are the ones who have led the way, and you have done so for the past 3 years. And everybody else is going to learn from you that you can elect the EFF and still live a beautiful life. Because the EFF is the only organization which will fight for the black nation. Comrades, racism is violence. And they must never project you as being violent because the racists are violent themselves. There is no way you can be racist and not be violent. For as long as your grandfathers and great-grandfathers benefited from the land, the stolen minerals of this country, you must know that you represent violence. You cannot represent peace while you are in possession of stolen goods. You must return the stolen goods if you represent good. I want to commend you for having achieved a lot in this university, especially during the Feast Must Fall. It was you who fought for the insourcing of cleaners and security guards. And we are proud that you have appreciated that the struggle of the workers is the struggle of the students. You cannot separate the struggles of the workers from the struggles of the students. By taking up that challenge, you championed the future, and we are happy that these workers today are receiving a reasonable salaries. But I want to challenge you, the student command, to lead a campaign in this university and follow in the footsteps of University of Cape Town and University of Western Cape by making sure that this institution cut all the relationship they have, especially academic and research ties with Israel. We don't want anything that has got to do with Israel. How do you relate to people who commit genocide against Palestinians? People who are bombing hospitals.
With people who are bombing hospitals. We cannot relate with people who are killing orphans. We cannot relate with people who are destroying schools and destroying old museums of Palestine. While Iran, Lebanon and Syria are responding, they are called terrorists. There is nothing terrorism about that. That is a self-defense. When people have occupied your land, you have a duty to fight to reclaim your land. There is no crime the people of Palestine have committed. And therefore, this university, by having any ties with Israel, it means it supports the killing of children and women.
Comrades, we led in Parliament a motion that the Israeli embassy must be closed. And Parliament accepted that motion of the EFF. The only problem we have is with the president who's scared of white people, because he must simply implement that resolution and remove the Israel embassy in Pretoria. We cannot share a territory with murderers. Those people are killers and they don't respect humanity, and we must never share a territory with them. Fighters, we must make sure that at the right time we must rename this university, because the name of this university does not represent who we are. Who is Pretoria? Why should we be called Pretoria? This university cannot be University of Pretoria. You are found in Tshwane. You can only be a University of Tshwane, not University of Pretoria. Why? Some of you go around very proud that you are attending school at Tekis. But many of you don't know where Tekis comes from. Tekis comes from Transvaal University College, TAG. And this is where the nickname TAGS comes from. When you go around saying, I'm from Tekis, you are unwittingly supporting colonial names. You are not different to those who insult us when we say to them, Springbok represent a symbol of apartheid. That's why we don't support the name Springbok, not rugby. Rugby we support. Rugby is our sport, but Springbok name is not our name. It's a name that represents apartheid. This term is a song that was sang when they were killing our people in Flag Plus. When our brothers, our fathers were being tortured, locked in shacks in Flag Plus, the Boers will go and make a braai outside the shack where our freedom fighters are kept. And when they get drunk, they will sing this term. You are in pain, you are being tortured, and the people who are torturing you sing this term. And then after that, you are told that you must sing a song that was sang when you were being tortured. It is unfair on the survivors of apartheid. We can never ask the Jews to sing the songs of Hitler. But why are we being asked to sing the song of apartheid? This term is not Afrikaans. When we say we don't want this term, it doesn't mean we don't want Afrikaans. Afrikaans is our language. We can compose another song or another version in Afrikaans, but that song should represent what we stand for. Comrades, the children of white people in this university and in the former white schools, they can't sing Nkosi Sikelel Africa. Yet these children were born after 1994. They were taught this song from crèche until where they are now. They still can't sing it properly. They still can't pronounce the words properly. But when it comes to the part of this term, the black people sing along with them and sing beautifully. To an extent that black people will even make you a joke of this university if you can't sing this term, as if this term is something to be proud of. Comrades, white people don't know our names. They can't pronounce our names. They can't pronounce our surnames. They don't know how the township looks like. There are a lot of white people, including your lecturers here, who have never been to a township because they don't see the black life as a life worth celebrating. So we must start being ourselves and challenging them. This city represents the center of apartheid. And DA had hijacked this city and wanted to continue with apartheid in this town. We refused them. and Obakeng leading his own battalion, they removed a golden boy of a white racist who was a mayor here in town. We removed him because these people were not taking services to Soshanguve or Mabopane or Mamelodi or Amanskrad or Adrochville, because they took all the resources and channeled them in the white suburbs. There is no suburb here in Pretoria where you will not find a roadside. Every road has got marks, it has got a very clear direction with very limited potholes. Where we come from, we don't speak about potholes because there is no tar road. Comrades, we must never allow the DA to come and govern Tshwane again in our lifetime, because they use Tshwane to want to spread their racism into the whole of South Africa. I heard John Steinhausen today saying he can school us. How can we be schooled by matriculate? A person who has not been to school. He must first school himself before he can school anyone. Fighters, DA is the most corrupt organization because racism is corruption, and we must never allow them to continue their racism in Tshwane. DA here in Tshwane gave 14 million to a company called Urecon, and that company was not properly awarded that tender. They gave a 12 billion tender to a company called Left Africa. 12 billion in 2019 under the DA. The rainfall wastewater treatment contract of 295 million was awarded here in Pretoria by DA, yet the project has never taken off. The money is gone. It is the DA here in China that reported irregular expenditure of 10 billion in the 2022-2023. But those things are not being said, because corruption committed by white people is not corruption, it's called mismanagement. I'm telling you about Tshwane because what you did here by winning the SRC elections, you are actually telling the country what needs to happen in 2026. It starts now, and it starts here at the liberated zone of UP, and it will spread all over South Africa. In 2026, when the EFF takes over, everybody must know that it was the UP Student Command that led the road to victory in 2026. You know, these Afrikaners here want to pretend like they are intellectuals. But how can intellectuals be threatened by protest? When a person protests, you arrest them. When people campaign freely in a university where it must be the highest stage of democracy, you victimize them. When people say we demand free education, you victimize them. When people say we are asking for a proper accommodation, you attack them. You send security guards to attack innocent students. When people say decolonize the education and change the curriculum, they are treated like they are criminals. If you go into the picket lines here in UP, you are declared a criminal, yet you are exercising your democratic right protected by the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. After they denied you a right to protest, they come and say the EFF is an anti-constitution organization. But yet themselves have got no respect for the Constitution. University is not a place of intellectual cowards. If you are an intellectual coward, you must never come to the university. At the university, it's a home of the intelligentsia. It's a home of people who engage and engage robustly. And if you don't want to engage, you must never come to this university. Continue with farming in your farm. Because if you want to come here and dictate to us the same way you dictate your workers in your farm, you will never win at the university. So fighters, you must never be scared. You must never be demoralized. You must lead by example. You must be the most disciplined students, especially those who are in the SRC. You must be like those MMCs of the EFF in Ikuruleni who run clean budget and deliver services to our people. You must be like those MMCs of the EFF in Johannesburg and deliver safety and health to our people. You must make sure that you are not accused of any corruption as a student, because the EFF is not a university of corruption. You can't be accused of corruption at this early age. Those who lead the SRC and in the student command, it must be put in the constitution that those who lead the SRC, part of the requirement must be academic performance. If they don't perform, they must never be allowed to lead. Fighters, don't convert this university into permanent residence. This is not your home. There is someone who's coming who wants to occupy that seat. That seat you are occupying, you must move from it, because there are many others waiting, wanting to occupy that seat. So fighters who lead the EFF never use the leadership of the EFF Student Command as an excuse not to perform at school. Those who lead the SRC, that's why we require academic performance, because now you are going to perform two tasks, that of being an academic and being leadership. You can only give the best two tasks. You can't give those who are challenged a responsibility of leading and a responsibility of learning. When you are challenged, work hard on learning and leave the rest to others who are not challenged. Fighters, the EFF Student Command, everywhere where they win elections, they must make sure they work for the students. Don't want to be liked by the management. Don't want to be a sweetheart of the management. Once the management praises you, you must know that you have committed suicide. You are no longer on the side of the student. No student must be turned away if he's qualified to be here. And the SRC is EFF-led. We must make sure every student who qualifies enters this university. And we must not be told that there is not enough space. We must have a problem of many students. Therefore, the government will be challenged to build more facilities because there are more students. Comrades, we cannot have in Pretoria, the capital city, a place that is residence of students, yet it does not have Wi-Fi. You cannot have any space where students are found without Wi-Fi. During the day, even at night, in the early hours of the morning, you must have access to Wi-Fi, because research does not sleep. How can you say these people are students and you don't give them the capacity to research at any time? We want every residence to be in good condition. We don't want residences that are allocated to friends of management, and when you arrive there, the children of the management will never stay in those residences. We need proper accommodation for each and every student in UP, and the Student Command SRC must lead that battle. You must make sure that all of black students are properly accommodated. I'm asking you to reduce your budget of SRC on entertainment and introduce free meal for the poor students, because we cannot learn with an empty stomach. Fighters, you must give the student free meals And you must not have a list of the students you are giving free meals. Just put them there. Whoever wants to fetch, they'll come and fetch. Because we are not going to discriminate against anyone. You have a huge budget of SRC that calls entertainments and festivals and all of that. Yet you've got children who are going to sleep with an empty stomach. Comrades, cut the SRC budget and start providing to all students who are here the sanitary pads free of charge, especially the females. Your budget is enough and it can touch lives. And when you distribute these free sanitary towels, you must not have list. Drop in each and every room. And those who are deserving, they will take those things. And those who have enough, they will even allocate to their own friends to make sure that they are well taken care of. I've never seen a government that is so inferior and gives men condoms, but can't give women sanitary towels for free. Fighters, the work of condom, it's a choice. It's not a natural call. We make a decision to engage in sexual activities. But those who require sanitary towels, it's not a choice. It's a natural call. And therefore it has to be taken care of. Comrades, we must introduce a graduate stipend. Everyone who graduates and does not have a job must be given money. And this is practical. Because, comrades, you can't say the government can afford to give graduates money. There are not so many graduates in South Africa. There are very few. And we can afford to give them a stipend if we can't give them jobs. Because government gives unemployed people who can't find their jobs and those who don't have access to resources, 370. Whether you are educated or not educated, they give you 370. We appreciate that and we want that to be increased. But it must be given according to qualifications. We cannot receive the same amount of money. We can't go to school for such a long time only to come back and get the same amount of money with the same people who have not gone to school. Because if we don't pay you, if we don't give you jobs and we don't pay you, your children will not want to go to school. Because they are going to say, you are earning the same amount as my uncle who has not been to school. Why must I go to school? Because the amount is the same. So we need to encourage the future generation. The future generation must know that education pays. And it doesn't just pay through lip service. It pays in terms of monetary value. Because you either get a job, you either own a business opportunity, or you are given a stipend. Everyone who goes to school must be paid when they graduate and they can't get jobs. In Botswana, fighters in Botswana, children are not paid after graduating. The day you accept to go to school at tertiary level, the Botswana government pays you money every month into your pocket. And I'm talking here with the young intelligentsia. You can go and find that information for yourself. I'm not here to mislead you, and they can't say I'm taking advantage because you are illiterate. You are the best of society. Here in Botswana, they use diamond because they've got the beautiful diamond to pay students for going to school. They thank you for going to school. When I came here, when I was the president of the Youth League, and I addressed somewhere here. There were so many white Afrikaners, they thought they can threaten me. And I came in. When I came here, during the Youth League time, I don't know what the amount are they paying them now. They were given 5,000 each for going to school every month. My mother died without receiving a salary or a grant of 5,000 rand. Yet our economy is bigger than the economy of Botswana. We've got more resources than Botswana. We are more developed than the rural Botswana. Yet Botswana does beautiful things better than us. In Botswana, there is a company called DPS. This company is owned by the Oppenheimers. It comes from here in South Africa. It does business here in South Africa and refuses to give South Africans 50%. But in Botswana, where they do business, the same company, next door, they go and give the Botswana government 51%. When the EFF says, let's nationalize the mines, they say, where did that work? That thing, whatever they call it in Botswana, is nationalization because 51% of the profit goes to the government of Botswana. That's what we're calling for. We are not calling for something that is not done anywhere in the world. Comrades, why do you have a reserve bank that is owned by foreigners? Why do you have a reserve bank that is privately owned? Why do you have a reserve bank that says it will not support developmental agenda? Because today, the Reserve Bank only support the companies that are engaged in short-term programs. They want immediate investment, which will pay now. They will never invest in industrialization. They will never invest in infrastructure. They will never invest in job creation. They are engaged in what we call hot money. They want to make money now so that whatever happens, they can live with that money immediately. So you need a reserve bank that is going to ensure that it says to the banks, I can only borrow you if you are channeling your borrowing into long-term investment that will lead into infrastructural development and industrialization. Why do you have the mines in South Africa transporting everything that we extract from our mines? There is nothing that is beneficiated here in South Africa. You produce chrome in Limpopo. You put it inside the trucks. And many of you pass these trucks on the road. And you say, we are unemployed. This government is not doing anything. Let me tell you, inside those trucks is not minerals. It's jobs going outside South Africa. Because when you take out chrome and you beneficiate it here, and you produce steel here, you are going to create jobs here. When you produce diamond, you polish it, you produce it in this mine, you open a factory next door, they polish it. You open another factory next door, they cut it. You open another factory next door, they produce finished goods. All of these things that are luxurious comes from here. You know what is the biggest joke is that Limpopo is the biggest producer of tomato. Yet there is no firm that produces tomato sauce. They take tomato raw as it is, take it out to be produced somewhere. Tomato goes there, live, and comes back in some containers, the same tomato. How many jobs can we create if the government says we must produce and process tomato here, including its packaging? It must be done in Limpopo. We must make sure that everything that benefits our people is beneficiated in our own local areas. Johannesburg, it is what it is because of the discovery of gold. That's why there is Johannesburg. So the discovery of chrome in Skukuni and the discovery of platinum in Rustenburg, those two cities were supposed to become another Joburg.
developed by their own minerals. Comrades, what creates a city is two things, and no one must fool you about what creates a city. Two things. It's natural resources and mineral resources. So if you go to Cape Town, it doesn't have a mine. What makes Cape Town what it is natural resources. So you go to Cape Town to see a Table Mountain. It's natural. You go for the sea. It's natural. You go for fishing business in Cape Town. It's natural. When you go to Johannesburg, it's gold. When you go to Kimberley, it's diamond and manganese. When you go to Lephalale, it's coal. Why are those minerals not making cities? Because we are told cities are made by two things, either natural or mineral resources. Only a committed government that is not scared of status quo and the capitalist establishment can create beneficiation in those cities and create jobs. Because once you create jobs, the people want accommodation. Once they get accommodation, they want schools, they want hospitals, they want roads, they want shopping malls. That's how you develop that place to become a city. So they will never, our areas will never become cities for as long as there are no job opportunities. And once job opportunities are created, cities come. Comrades, we must make sure we nationalize every strategic sector of the economy. They say to you, yeah, in UP, when you go into their portal to search socialism, they don't say anything. They actually direct you to a capitalist achievement to create an impression that capitalism is the most successful economic system. Yet we are in this crisis because of capitalism. They say to you, socialism has never worked anywhere. You must ask them what happened in China if socialism has never worked anywhere. And they say socialism will scare investors, yet the same investors are investing in China. Which investors are you talking about? Because iPhone is being produced in China, and yet it's an American product. So if America can do business with China, what stops us from nationalizing our own resources and following the steps of China? China is the most highly developed now and has defeated poverty and unemployment because they've nationalized their resources. Fighters, you must make sure that you continue with this attitude of wanting to critique everything that is presented before you, and you don't vote on the basis of t-shirts and food parcels, because people have surrendered the thinking into food parcels. People have surrendered thinking into t-shirts. How can you vote the same way your grandmother votes and has been voting? Because the party that your grandmother is voting for was relevant during her time. So you must look for a party that is relevant now and that makes sense to you as young people. I can tell you now, the EFF is the only thing that makes sense in South Africa. Whether they want to deny it now, but in future they will accept it. Because the EFF is always ahead. Every time the EFF says things, they attack it. After 5 years, they repeat what the EFF said 5 years ago, because the EFF is always leading. We thank you for being students who think critically and who want to apply their mind and say what makes sense today. And you responded and said the EFF makes sense. So we want you to continue that culture when you graduate from the student command. Graduate into the ranks of the EFF. You must become the second and the third layer leadership, because unlike Mangosuthu Buthelezi, some of us are not going to die on these positions. We are warming the chairs for you to come take over the leadership of the EFF. So fighters, Here in Tshwane, you are in a democratic state that the EFF is going to be part of the government. And when you graduate, they must hire you if there are job opportunities, and they must not ask you which political party you belong to. As long as you are a South African with an ID, you deserve to get a proper job in South Africa, irrespective of which political party you belong to. So I want to encourage you to study hard, because the government of the EFF is coming. It is inevitable, and it will only empower those who have empowered themselves. In the EFF, we make education fashionable. Continue to make education fashionable, and continue to lead the villages and our townships as exemplary leadership. Because when you graduate here, it will not be your family alone which is going to celebrate. The whole village is going to celebrate that we have produced a scientist who is a woman. We have produced an engineer who is a woman. We have produced a politician who is a woman. Because women must never be regarded as if they must belong to nursing and teaching only. They must belong to everything that makes sense in the economy of South Africa. So, fighters, I want you to study. Do not be discouraged by the unemployment you see today. Do not be discouraged by the state of the economy you see today. Today is not the future. The future is the EFF. Amandla! Amandla! Viva EFF! Viva! Viva EFF! Viva! Ayasa mama kwala. Ayasa mama kwala.
We want to take this opportunity to thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the EFF for coming to address us here at the headquarters of racism. President, we also want to assure you that we are going to be demanding our refund from these sound guys and give the money to the students of the University of Pretoria. We want our money so that the branch can be able to do a proper bribe for all students in the University of Pretoria. So without wasting any time, let's all remain disciplined and allow the leadership to go out in song fighters so that we can show our appreciation. Amandla! Uche! Uche